Our next story revolves around a fallen sports person, Oscar Pistorius, who is out of jail now. He's a free man after 11 years of legal turmoil. For those who can't quite recollect, here's a quick backgrounder. Pistorius was a former Paralympian gold medalist, also nicknamed the Blade Runner, for his carbon fiber prosthetic legs. Yes, a double amputee who won gold 6 times. Pistorius was born without calf bones. He also qualified for the Olympics wearing prosthetic blades. But his life took a tragic turn. He is now a convicted murderer who killed his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp, on Valentine's Day 2013. What could possibly be in store for someone who was considered a hero once? Pistorius fought all odds to compete on the world stage, only to succumb and fail.
Oscar Pistorius, once a celebrated sports figure, altered his life's course on Valentine's Day in the year 2013. Pistorius shot his girlfriend multiple times through a toilet door. He was convicted of murder and given a 13-year, 5-month jail sentence. Today, he's a free man. He's out on parole and is expected to live in Pretoria in South Africa. Until his sentence expires in December 2029, he will be kept under observation. Parole conditions require him to attend mandatory programs, be at home at particular hours of the day, avoid drugs and alcohol, and of course, he's banned from conducting any media interviews. Further, he'll be routinely monitored by an official. Any violation could again send him back to prison. His trial started in 2013 and it caught global attention back then, from retching in the courtroom to hearing the testimonies of 40 witnesses. The proceedings were long drawn out and took its due course. But his release raises questions of whether justice served is always justice delivered. Pistorius claims he mistook Steenkamp for an intruder, hence he brazenly fired multiple rounds in self-defense. But what about the victim whose future was taken away at 29, or the lasting trauma Steenkamp's family will have to endure? Back in March 2023, during his parole hearing, here's what her lawyer had to say.
First of all, it's a very traumatic experience, as you can imagine. It's painful. June has to face Oscar Pistorius again this morning. He's the killer of her daughter. For them, it's a life sentence. He's eligible to be considered for placement on parole. They don't feel that he should be released. They feel that he has shown no remorse. He's not rehabilitated, because if he had been, he would have come clean and told the true story of what happened that night. The Supreme Court of Appeal found that he hasn't divulged everything that happened that night, and that's the position that they also hold.
Pistorius was initially denied parole and only got it on November 24th. South African officials believe he deserves a second chance.
According to South African law, Oscar Pistorius was charged. He went through trial and he was committed into the penitentiary services. And now, like any other prisoner, he has qualified for parole and is receiving parole and is going out on parole. I think that is what we call justice, and it's punitive justice. And we also believe in rehabilitative justice. He has ticked all the necessary boxes. And we can only wish and hope that Oscar Pistorius will come out a better human being and he'll be able to help others.
Steenkamp's mother still vehemently opposes his version of the story. And like the grieving family, many critics have slammed the decision of granting parole. Because he's had a bit of a run-in with violent behavior in the past. In 2009, he assaulted a 19-year-old woman at a party. He spent a night in jail, but that incident was swept under the carpet. Even weeks before he shot his own girlfriend, he accidentally used a gun at a restaurant in Johannesburg. It's tough to take Oscar's side, and this is purely from an objective view. Taking any life is a crime. According to reports, he hasn't divulged anything that's happened that night, which makes the assessment of his psyche more difficult. His past is also not helpful. So we ask, are sporting accolades and fighting the odds and struggling to triumph enough to earn the respect or the sympathy? No. At the same time, there is that question of giving everyone a second chance to reform, to change. That's what the court is trying to say. For Oscar Pistorius, the journey hereon to survive and walk along a crowd that will spite him is going to be the bigger challenge than staying behind bars. How he fights the perceptions and hatred to turn over a new leaf will be most difficult. More difficult than his journey from just a double amputee to becoming the Blade Runner, a Paralympic gold medalist.